We are installing onto a Dell PowerEdge 2850, and for this installation there is nothing on the drives. The only thing that I've done so far is I've downloaded the RAID drivers that I'm going to need to deploy, and I have went ahead and configured the RAID controller to have my physical drive. Okay, it does not have a drive in here that the installation can see, so it automatically went to boot to DVD. I'm going to go ahead and enter my language options, time and keyboard, click Next, and go ahead and click Install. In this case, I'm going to do a Windows Server 2008 R2 Standard Full Installation x64. Accept the license agreement, do a custom installation, and you'll see that I have no drives on my system, so I have to go ahead and load the driver and select my PARC4E RAID controller. Go ahead and do the install. After the install, you'll see that I have one empty unallocated disk. I'm going to go ahead and click on the unallocated space, but what I need to do is I want to format that drive and go ahead and create a VHD on it. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on Drive Options, New Partition, and give it the size that I want. I'm going to go ahead and select the maximum, hit Apply, and it'll go ahead and create two partitions for me. One is the system partition, and the other is the boot partition. I'm going to go ahead and format the drive so that I can use that in the next step. Once the drive is formatted, I can hit Shift F10 to drop me to a command prompt. Now, the first thing that I've got to do is I'm going into the command prompt, and I've got to figure out what drive letter my data is on. So I'm just going to go through the drives until I find the one that I'm looking for. The G drive is the system reserve drive. The next drive is the H drive. That should be my data volume. That's going to be a blank drive at this point. So what I need to do is create a folder. I'm going to create a VHD folder and go ahead and create the VHD disk in that folder. You'll see that it's blank. It has nothing in there now. The way that I create that is I use the disk part utility. And the command to create the VHD is create vdisk, and I have a few parameters that I have to give it. One is the file. The file is equal to h:\VHD /bootdemo.vhd. And I also want to tell it what type of VHD this is going to be. If it's going to be expandable or fixed. I'm going to do expandable, so it's going to be type equal expandable. I need to put in the maximum size that I want this disk to be able to expand to, and let's go ahead and put in 40,000 there, which will give me about a 39 gig drive. Successfully created the virtual disk. If I had not just created this, if I went in, I would need to go in and manually select that. So the command to attach is attach vdisk, and you see that was successful. So at this point, I can close out of my command prompt and do a refresh on my installation screen, and I should see that additional disk that we just created. And sure enough, there it is, 39 gig. I can go ahead and create a partition on that, or I can just click Next and it will create the partition and do the install for me. And I'm just going to go ahead and let it rip. And I'm going to just kind of zoom through that process so we can get to the parts where we're actually entering data. Set up registry settings. Starting services, completing installation. Preparing your computer for first use. And we are to the point where we get to enter our password for the first time. Then go ahead and click on OK. Type in my password. Password has been changed. And we'll continue with the installation. Preparing your desktop. And finally, we have the desktop. I want to take a look at a couple things on this. And go ahead and take a look at the disk manager. So from Server Manager, I'm going to go to Storage and then Disk Management and show you what it looks like. All right, you'll see that disk 1, the D drive, is actually the physical disk that we installed onto, and the C drive is the one that we're actually booted to. The C drive is actually a VHD sitting on top of the physical D drive. We know it's a VHD because of the blue color icon on the disk. Let's take a look and see what it looks like in my computer, and we'll see the D drive, which is my boot disk, only has my physical disk only has one file in it, and that is the VHD. And notice also the size. It's 40 gig in size, or displaying 40 gig in size. It's not really 40 gig, but it assumes the full size of the C drive whenever it displays the physical host drive volume.